Hey everybody, what's going on? Thanks for swinging by. I sure do appreciate it. If this is your first time with the channel, my name is Mark.
Oh, hi Mark.
Welcome to Fit and Fire. Let's get into this video. This time we're going to be revisiting the PSA Krink. This is the 5.56 version. They just released the 300 blackout version, and I'd hope to be able to get one of those in my hands to see kind of the difference between the two. I think it would do really well in 300 blackout, but time will tell. We'll see what happens with that. Needless to say, we've got 2,000 rounds through this, and I wanted to kind of go through some of the things that I've been seeing with the wear on this, talk about the accuracy, talk about my experience in shooting this in a two-gun competition and how well it did there, and so on and so forth. Before we get any further into this video, let's take a break for this video's sponsor. All right, guys, you know that I'm not going to do an ad read unless I like, and most importantly, use the product, which is why today's sponsor is Vertex. I've been a longtime fan of the cutback tactical pants that I've worn through many workouts, competitions, training courses, and just everyday wear since 2020. Vertex now has the Defiant jeans that is not only a new favorite of mine, but also my camera guy and podcast co-host, Hefe Actual. But hands down, my new favorite go-to is the Delta Stretch 2.1 pants due to its common appearance yet rugged construction, awesome for work or play. Vertex is also known for their EDC fanny packs, backpacks, and gloves. The Assault 2.0 gloves are the ones that I'm absolutely loving at the range right now. Take 15% off your entire order by using code FITANDFIRE. You heard me correct, 15% off when you use the code FITNFIRE at checkout. It's a great way to tell Vertex I sent you while getting some great gear. Link and code in the pinned comment. Go check it out. I'd also like to take a second to say a huge thank you to H-Town Werewolf. This belongs to him, so I'm not getting paid to say anything good, bad, or indifferent about this from PSA. They don't even know I'm doing this video. They didn't know I did my last video because this is from H-Town Werewolf. He purchased it and is loaning it to me to get the round count up. I was able to get it to 1,500 rounds in my first video. This time we now have 2,000 rounds through it, and the majority of that has been ran suppressed with this Resilient Putnik added to it. Now, this is a flow-through can that is going to be very similar to that of the Russian suppressor for AKs. To be honest with you, I'm not really good when it comes to suppressors. I barely know how to put them on a firearm, which is that's a joke, guys. I know how to put it on. But realistically, I had some issues with this being able to use the hub adapter to just directly thread this onto different types of firearms. It would back out and get loose. So what I ended up doing was getting a chemo adapter. Because it is hub adaptable, I could put the chemo interface to it and then run that on a JMac Customs brake that then allows me to take this on and off not only the PSA Krink, but then add it on to like my M90 or even my Romanian underfolder. Anything that I have a chemo adapter to, I can quickly switch this out, and I don't have to worry about, you know, direct threads versus non-direct threads and all that different type of stuff. I've got one solution that's going to fit all of my AKs. Now, that may not be your cup of tea. You may want to just direct thread this on, and by all means, just go ahead and do that. That works fine, but just know that I personally have had issues with it backing off. And I've wrenched it down as tight as I possibly can. But outside of that, once I've had it on here with the chemo, I've had no problems whatsoever. So take all of that for what you will. It could be user error as well. That might be a very reasonable reason why the Putnik was backing off. But just keep that in mind. So there you have it. This ran great. Even with the Putnik on here, I've had zero failures to feed fire or eject. And I think a lot of that has to do with what H-Town Werewolf did with the chamber. Now, he went in and took a brass brush and cleaned out that chamber and then polished it up pretty good. And I think whatever he ended up doing fixed the issue, especially when it came to steel case ammo. I've ran 30 rounds, one full magazine through this with steel case, because unfortunately that's all I had, and it worked just fine, no problems there. We got 55 grain steel case, bar and all. It is full metal jacket boat tail. Point of impact is probably going to shift, but we'll see. That 300 yard is really elusive. There we go. 300 yard hit. See if we can get that again. There we go. Let's try one more time. There we go. Back to 200. And then as fast as I can. All right. In addition to that, as you can see, I have a Bakelite mag with a Pot Arms follower, and it has ran this magazine just fine. I have two AK-74 Plums that have Pot Arm followers in them, and those have ran just fine. It really likes the PSA 5.56 AK mags for sure, which should be expected. But I will say that I did have issues with the AC Unity mags. Their 5.56 AK mags just really didn't want to latch in. If I had a magazine that would latch in, it would take a lot of force to get it in, and then I had other magazines that just wouldn't latch. So there's kind of a look into the magazine compatibility. Let's talk about accuracy. Weird thing with accuracy on this. I did shoot this at a 2-gun match, and we had to shoot out to 300 yards and got a impact on the second round. I can't remember if it was the second or the third round, but we had targets at 50, 100, 200, and then 300 yards as well. And I was able to clear that stage and have one of the faster times as well, just using a red dot and this Krink. Ready?
Hands at your side, please, though. Stand by. Yep. Hit! 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 Oh, yeah. Hell yeah. Hit! Nicely done.
3, 4, 5, 7.
All right, I see clear. Let's clear that handgun. Hang on, guys.
However, I then took this to the range just last week, set up my shooting table at 50 yards and put 5 rounds of Winchester M193 through it, and the groups were not all that great. I was actually really surprised at how disappointing the groups were. We're talking about 5-ish inches at 50 yards. So that's 55 grain M193, right? Well, switching over to Frontier 75 grain boat tail hollow point match bullets, they didn't fare very much better as well. I think maybe I might have been able to extract 4 inches at 50 yards, but yeah, man, I don't know. It's surprising to me because I was able to get really good shots on target in the competition, but then I go to a bench shooting at 50 yards and it didn't work out very well. That seemed kind of odd to me. So at the very least, this would be a very good rifle for 200 yards and in. I mean, I really don't think that you're going to be consistent at 300 yards for it to be a true like fighting rifle. But something for close quarters, home defense, maybe, you know, ranch defense, if you're not shooting over 200 yards, this should do okay. Should do okay. So now that we have 2,000 rounds through it, let's take a look underneath the hood to see what we can see as far as wear and see if there's anything progressing faster than what you should expect. I'm going to let you guys be the decision makers on this, but at the very least, here is the bolt carrier, and then here is the bolt. And I've got these cleaned up as best I possibly can. And then here is your front trunnion. To be honest with you, I'm not seeing anything that is overly concerning. Pretty standard wear, I would suppose, especially shooting so many rounds suppressed. But I'll let you guys be, you know, the decision makers on whether or not that's good or bad to you. I've seen much worse for sure, but so far, I think it's doing okay. So that's, like I said, that's good to hear, or good to see rather. Yeah, so there you have it. 2,000 rounds later, I think it's doing okay. The problem with the Krinks is that these are coming from PSA. We know that their quality control can be a little hit or miss in some cases. I have one example that has been running well, that wasn't cherry picked. It was purchased by H-Town Werewolf and it's doing okay. Other people's results may vary, so just keep all of that in mind and just realize that this is about a $1,200 version of something that costs $3,000 plus. So you got to keep all of that in perspective. So I think it's doing okay. I think it's going to be a really cool range toy for a lot of people. So yeah. All right, so I'm going to leave that up to you guys on whether or not this has kind of changed your mind on the PSA Krink. Is it better than you expected? Is this just kind of one of those things? It's like it's a sample size of 1, so be cautious. Let me know what you think down in the comments section down below. Again, if you guys are interested in pick up some stuff from Vertex, I have a 15% off discount code in the pinned comment. So swing by and use that code. It's a great way to let them know that I sent you. And if you haven't already checked out the Live, Laugh, Larp podcast, swing by and check that out as well. All of that is going to be in the pinned comment, so I appreciate you guys swinging by and checking that stuff out. With all of that being said, we're going to go ahead and get out of here. Thank you so much. We will catch you guys next time. As always, freedom through strength. Here comes a high five. Bye, y'all.